All right. Welcome those watching outside of Discord. This is going to be an Alpha Sharks overview. We are also doing a giveaway today as well via Twitter. So if you guys have any questions for any of the Alpha Sharks holders, we will be going over them today. And again, if you guys have any questions, do not be afraid to bring them up. So we're going to let a few people jump in here and we'll get started. All right, welcome those watching outside of the Discords on Twitch and Twitter. We'll be doing an Alpha Sharks overview today. We'll also be doing a giveaway via Twitter. So if you guys have any questions, we'll be going over them today. And let's pretty much just jump right into it. So first things first, we always like to come into the trending page, go into our multiple time frames. One of the main things that we are going to see is the amount of sales that are coming through. So the way that the time frames are actually filtered are going to be via sales. We will have features where we will be able to filter out um, a little more in depth pretty soon. But for now, again, this is just going to be filtered by sales. But one of the things that we do go over very heavily is looking at the volume, because sales is a solid metric to look at, but not as important as volume is. Because if we have, let's say, one sale with, I guess, a super high amount of volume, we do want to take that into consideration because of the amount of volume that's actually coming in, as opposed to lots of sales with minimal amount of volume. But in this case, we're kind of seeing high amount of sales plus high amount of volume. So this is giving us the indication that there's money and demand coming in, but there's also numerous buyers coming in at this point too. So this is something that we definitely want to have our eyes on for sure. Another thing we talk about is having triple-digit ETH volume traded, and especially on the 24-hour time frame. This is, for what we've been looking at recently, has been quote-unquote normal, and something we definitely want to take a look at. Notice TAT right under it has about half the volume and about half the sales. So what's that telling us, just based on a technical perspective, is that Deep Objects is in twice more demand as TAT actually is within the last 24 hours. So that can give us a pretty solid indication of, again, what is going to, what we're looking for and where the actual volume or the demand is actually going to. So down here with Kataro, we have 230 ETH volume traded. And that's almost pushing what Deep Objects has as well. So we can see this is definitely something that's in demand. Street Machine with 154 is something we also want to keep an eye on. Personally, I like to scroll down just to see if there's anything else that kind of catches our attention. Genuine Undead pushing almost 100 ETH. So that's something we definitely want to keep an eye on as well, because we have the next blue chip percentage of 10.2% here, plus our listing percentages is pretty small here as well. So definitely want to kind of keep an eye on as it's trying to push that triple-digit ETH volume. So now let's jump into something like an hour chart to see if we can see some of the projects that we saw on the 24-hour time frame. And right here we can see Deep Objects. Notice that just jumped to number one because it's having the most amount of sales within the last hour that we're looking at. So not only that, but look at the amount of ETH volume traded. That's definitely something we are looking at as well. But within the hour, notice our volume metrics are actually changing. Notice Pixelmon within the last hour is doubling the amount of demand of Deep Objects. Also has a next blue chip probability plus 5% listed. So this is something we're probably going to take a look at as well. This Art Blocks X Pace doing 40 ETH volume plus double blue chip, meaning at least 20% NBCP, which is something we are also going to want to look at as well. So we kind of got a few different interesting plays today. It's kind of very obscure. We don't really see lots of projects that are kind of out on a limb. So when that's being done, I like to go into way smaller time frames to kind of narrow down what's kind of in play. So jumping into a 15-minute, and we can see obviously deep objects is one that's going to be on our radar for sure, because we've had it on the 24-hour, the 1 hour, and the 15, and it's been on top for all three of those. So this is definitely one that's going to be on our list. When we start going down, we should be looking for some of the ones that we saw near the 1 hour, the 1 day. So Pixelmon is another one that popped up as well. Um, so let's actually jump into deep objects, as I think this is the one that is mainly in play. And look at this kind of chart, nice little chart that we got going here. So one of the first things I'm going to break down in the view portion of sharks is the stat line. So I like breaking the stat line down into a few different portions, breaking it down from total supply and the amount of owners. This is a very key metric to look at, because if this is over, if we're saying 20%, 25%, it's saying that there's at least a quarter of the, owner supply ratio is basically saying how many owners to the actual supply there actually is. So right now we're pushing about 50%. So what that's indicating is that ideally, in a perfect world, these owners own two of this actual NFT. But we know that, again, this is not a perfect world. And we can scroll down here towards our number of token holders, and we can see the amount of people selling, the amount of tokens that they're actually holding. And this is going to give us an indication of how thick our walls are actually going to be. When we have lots of green being sold here, it's meaning that these people only own one particular token. And this is ideally, again, linked to owner supply, because notice the amount of 2 to 4 tokens, owner token holders here. When these people actually have more tokens, it's a lot easier to de-risk at this point if you're an actual seller of the NFT. And think about it, when people have 5 to 9 tokens or even 10 plus tokens, it's a lot easier to de-risk at that point, as opposed to if people were to only have one of the NFT. Thus why we want a higher owner supply ratio, because if there's more amount of owners to supply, ideally they have less amount to release into the total circulating supply. So definitely one of the key metrics that we definitely like to look at a lot. Next, you're going to have the royalty, and a major one that we talk about all the time is going to be MBCP. MBCP is going to be next blue chip probability, and next blue chip probability is basically broke down by calculating the blue chip projects that we're considering inside of this project that we're looking at, and taking the amount of wallets and the amount of NFTs that they're actually holding and putting it into a mean between all of them, and thus giving us a percentage of giving a probability of it becoming the next blue chip. And again, this is not only a technical indicator, this is also a social indicator as well. One of the things we do like to see for something like a degen play or a lower end mint, we want to see MBCP rise from about 0 to 3, 0 to 5%. If you can get over that 5%, just think about what that's telling us. The higher that this number actually is indicating that there are more blue chip holders inside of the actual project. And let's think about the people that we consider blue chips. These people are not only here to hold one NFT. Very rarely that would be the case. Usually they're buying in size or bulk, because again, they have that type of risk management to play with. So ideally, again, the higher the number here, the more likely it is for volume to potentially come in, because think about all the eyes you have on this space as well. So this indicator right here is very, very key, that we definitely want to take a look at over time. When you start pushing that 5 to 7%, this can definitely start getting into a swing potential territory, meaning it can turn from a degen play to an actual longer term play. Longer term meaning like a few days, a week potentially. This number is very key for plays like this. One of the next things, or one of the next metrics we'd like to look at is here, amount of listings. And that's where I was going on to the side right here, pulling up the listing percentage. So here we can see the amount of listings and we can see the listing percentage. So we're pushing about 17%. We'd like to see about 15, 10% amount of listings, because again, that would make us our walls a lot thinner to get through. And ideally, if we're trying to buy it up, that is definitely something that you're trying to look for. So definitely a key metric that we're looking up there with amount of listings. And also this listings here is going to be directly correlated with this chart here. So as long as you have total listings being calculated here, we'll be calculating the same listings here as well. The time you will happen to change that is if you go up and change this threshold. And what the threshold is saying is, if you happen to change the threshold, you're looking to change the portion of these charts down here. And let's say you just wanted to see listings up until 0.2. So let's do 0.2. And notice the amount of listings have actually changed. Notice up here it's still 1667, but down here we're getting 1420, because we're only calculating again a threshold up until this 0.2 area. So it's not calculating any listings above that zone. So kind of a neat thing to kind of see if you're trying to particularly go to a certain level. So awesome little tool that we have there. Another thing I want to go over down here with the charting portion. So right now, notice everything's kind of blurred in red because we actually have this filtering by ranks. And we can see that the rank of variety is pretty much at 0%, meaning they're all the same rank as of right now. When something like this happens, I like to change the chart filtering to PNL. And this kind of gives us a different perspective of kind of what's happening. Ideally with initial buyers. So the green is going to indicate people who are making transactions in profit. Red are going to indicate people who are making transactions in deficit. So one of the main things we do talk about going over like pattern, I guess recognition, and drawing trend lines. You can see we're pretty much just taking this uptrend. We kind of talk about this pattern all the time, right? You got the buy up, the run up after the mint, then you have this portion right here where people start getting the FOMO, thinking it's going to continue to break out towards that 0.1 zone, but it doesn't. Then you start to get the retracement. This retracement comes in, but we always talk about creating ranges. We have a top zone and a bottom zone. And on this retrace, if this retrace doesn't pull back as low as this initial low, then we're looking to run that thing back up, at least potentially till the last high that we actually got. So down here, you can actually see we created another smaller mini downtrend. But what ended up helping us here was our volume here. We ended up breaking out of this miniature range that we had playing within. And notice where we happen to get these red dots where people are selling into a loss. And ideally, this is where, as a buyer, you're kind of looking to buy the fear. Yes, it can go lower, but that's kind of the risk we're taking, right? This is the potential dip buy zone because what's solidifying this is the breakout of the intermediate range plus this right here. This is major, major key. We've had the most volume coming in since the last few hours. So if we can see that, and we're again not breaking that last low, that's something that this is an area that we're looking to potentially get a dip buy in again to run it up at least towards this last high. And if we can't get to that last high, then we know that there's not enough demand coming into that zone. Definitely one of the key things to look at during this kind of chart. Since this is a newer chart, I do like using the Alpha Sharks expert view, because again, having this P&L when this has actually released, it gives us a better idea of the psychology of what's going on with the actual sellers here. So again, if we can see this pattern happens over and over and over again. The run up after the mint, you get your buyers buying up, trying to run it up to, I guess, that FOMO zone, and then you get the actual retracement. But then this is where you kind of get the change, because you can get a small retracement and a push, or you can just get a full-fledged retrace where it just doesn't come back. But that's kind of the risk that we're taking, right? And to see that, I like to go into trading view in particular, and I like to go on to smaller time frames, particularly like a 1 minute for something like this. And using one of the indicators that we had last week, the MACD, and we could have easily seen this holding trend and creating this triangle formation here. Right here, right where we started getting the crossing. This could have been our, let me zoom that in for you guys. Right here in this zone where we started to again hold the last low, making higher lows to potentially break out, and we started getting our volume coming in here, and our momentum is saying, hey, we're in correlation to start pushing this thing back up. And then notice what actually started to happen. Our average volume starts to rise, meaning our demand is starting to come up at this point. But then notice where we actually happen to stop, right where the momentum starts to take us down. So at that 0.94 zone, again, that could have been a, what is that? Get the info line. It's about a 20% run right there, at least, if you got in at the low. Again, it's really not about the ETH amount. I know people would like to think that, but it's really about the process, about going through stuff like this. Because if you can, again, have a risk mitigated entry and kind of run this process over and over and over again, and you let your winners run just a little bit more than your losers actually make, this could be a very, very profitable setup. Again, we see setups like this all the time. This run up into the mint, the FOMO buys thinking it's going to run up, you get the retracement, and we see how that retracement acts. Because we have to think about it like this. The people, at least the smart people who didn't get in or didn't get to mint, they're looking for the entry. The smart people don't want to buy the top. They're looking to buy a retrace to run it back up. And that's exactly what we saw coming in here. We had volume coming in right here at the dip, secondary buyers saying, hey, we're coming in because we want in. And thus right here, this outbreak of volume and our momentum break is telling us, hey, we're ready to break out of this accumulation zone that we've been playing within. And we knew it had to break out at a point, whether that was up or down. We just happened to get the correlation that volume and momentum was on our side. This easily could have went the other way, but for the reasons it went the way it did is because of the amount of demand that we had coming in here. One of the things I wish we could see too was amount of listings at this time. This is about 2 hours ago, so we can't pull that up as of yet. But we are trying to work graphs where we can pull up kind of all-time data, and that would definitely help us out, because not only the rise of volume and momentum, that wasn't just the major key here. I can almost guarantee you that at this point in time, that amount of listings was starting to look something like this, was decreasing very rapidly over time, because not only did we have demand rising, but the amount of listings with this can cause a greater breakout at this point. And this is why we going over all of these kind of statistics. There's not one just, oh, if I see it hit this indicator, then it's a buy or a sell. It doesn't really work like that. It's putting them all into conjunction and putting them into, I guess, just understanding them and how they affect the overall supply and demand model. Again, the reason why we look at volume so heavily is because it's literally the amount of demand coming in, right? And why we look at amount of listings so heavily is because it's directly correlated to the amount of supply. And those are the two factors that are going to help out our price action. So anything that's linked to amount of listings and amount of volume traded, we're definitely going to want to be looking at that. Let's see. I did have a question regarding the bidding tool. Let's kind of go over that. So here, if anybody hasn't gone over the bidding tool, we're going to jump over that now. So if you go over on the top portion, we're just on trends. If you go into the bidding portion, you'll get a smart bidding beta pop up, your wallet, and a private key tab as well. One thing you can do if you're looking to add a bid, let's say Alpha Sharks. Let's say you're looking to bid on particular traits. Anybody give me a trait? Anybody looking for anything particular? You guys can type in the Educator chat. Any trait. Somebody give me a trait. Uh, 20 tokens. Okay. Let's see the boost, about 20. Okay. So once we have that trait set there, you can also go very in depth with it. Let's say you wanted only boosts under a certain ETH volume price and under a certain rank and under a certain token value. You can totally specify that as specific as you want. But for this example, we're just going to keep it a little broader so that we get a little more results. Also up here, you can toggle whether you want to bid on NFTs that are on sale only, or if they're not even listed at that point as well. So you can toggle that on as well. So let's say I only want to bid on the ones that are up, that have a listing, then I can apply that. The bidding strategy here. So you're going to have two different portions. You're going to have a fixed bid and you're going to have a dynamic bid. And the difference between the two are going to be, you're going to have a set static amount with fixed bids, meaning if I send in a WETH offer of 0.2, that's a static WETH offer that is not going to change. It's going to be 0.2 until I change that. But if I go into dynamic bid, notice that it's giving me a percentage of the floor. So as the floor is moving, let's say I wanted to do 10% of the floor or 20%, 25% of the floor. You can set that so that it actually moves with the floor price action itself. So people looking for potential dip buys, this is going to be something that you're definitely going to want to be using. After you get past the fixed bids and dynamic bid portion, you're going to have the loop function and the stop price function as well. So the loop function, if you happen to turn that on, it's going to resubmit these offers per the time that you actually set. So let's say you wanted to do it every 10 minutes or every 10 hours or 10 days. You can set that so that it loops that amount of times. You can also set a stop price. So let's say that you're on the dynamic bid and you didn't want to, let's say, go over 1 ETH. So you can turn this on and set the stop price. We'll stop submitting when floor price is over 1 ETH. That would be definitely something to look at. And the expiration here, you can set the amount of days, amount of hours, amount of minutes, and you can go on to next. And here's going to give you pretty much the preview of the pop-up that we just kind of filtered out. So it's saying, what are we filtering for? Boost minimum of 20, max 30. We didn't filter any token IDs. We have the rank that's unfiltered and listing price unfiltered as well. We wanted the dynamic bid. We wanted the bid 25% of the floor. We're not looping it, and we'll stop when the floor is over 1 ETH. How many bids we can actually pick up is going to be 12, and the expiration is going to be 30 days in. So these are all the NFTs that fit the description that we're looking for. And so let's go submit, and there you go. So now you're actually going to see the submission portion here, and here is where you have to do the manual sign. If you do, I believe it's in beta phase, where you can input a private key portion. You can do that as well, so that you don't automatically or manually have to sign all of these, as we know that automation is very key, especially for something with a bigger, if you're bidding on something that has lots of listings. So it's pretty much the breakdown of the bidding tool. Did anybody have any questions regarding this particular feature itself? You guys can unmute your mics. You guys can type in the educator chat. And don't be afraid to ask any questions. Go ahead. There will be it's right now, we will have a mobile version that will be coming out. You should be able to run it on the phone. I don't think it's optimized for the phone yet, but we will be having a mobile version that will be optimizing the whole UI, so that will be coming. And yeah, if you're looking to kind of change the wallet too, you can kind of utilize that up here. So you can have your primary wallet and then utilize a different wallet. Let's say you're using like a burner wallet, you can change that up here with your tools wallet. Yeah, no worries. Good question. AZ, what's the private key? Instant buy. So yeah, I will go over that when I have 100% on that itself, because I think that's still in beta. But something like the instant buy, I know that that takes pretty much a private key where it's an automatic transaction, as opposed to when we go into a project, let's say like something like this, and we're looking to buy, let's say I don't want to buy something, but let's say something like this, as opposed to where we get the MetaMask pop-up where it just automatically takes that. But definitely have to get some more information on that. But that will be available. I think I have a lot of people here today. again, if you guys have any questions, right now is definitely the time to ask them. If you guys were having any trouble going over any of the settings, any of the features that we had, any of the indicators, anything you guys don't kind of understand, anything you guys are looking to suggest into the tool, definitely speak up and get your suggestions in right now, because we as a team go over these and try to implement, again, what's the most efficient and most effective possibilities to kind of get this the most optimized tool out there. So definitely don't be afraid to speak up. See Gan typing, I see Lake typing. Where do we find our private key? You should have your private key. You should have that whenever you make your whatever wallet that you're creating. That should be automatically given. Is there a way to keep your AS in one wallet, but when you go to make a purchase, it comes from a different wallet? Ween G, can you kind of specify on that? Is there a way to keep your AS in one wallet, but when you go to make a purchase, it comes from when you make a purchase on the marketplace? Is that what you're meaning? If that's the case, so here I'll kind of go over the wallet settings right here. So your primary wallet is going to be the primary wallet with the actual NFT in there. This is again this is the wallet that holds the actual NFT. We give the option to apply a tools wallet. So let's say you're using like a burner wallet or something like that. You definitely want to put that in here, and you would be able to access the AlphaSharks tool. Like let's say you had a ledger and you wanted to hold the NFT in your primary wallet, but you wanted to use a burner wallet to snipe or something like that. You'd put the burner wallet address right here. And again, if you're looking to buy something off the marketplace, you can also change that wallet here as well. I think that's what you're referring to, but if that's not it, definitely let me know. Can you explain the pricing for this tool? The pricing. I haven't looked at AlphaSharks in a while. What are we at? 0.26. 0.26 for the entry right now. But yeah, 0.26 will get you the full access to the whole tool. It's no subscription or anything like that. One-time buy and you get all the access. So it's pretty much that. Maha, maybe having some indicators similar to Flips Finance would be useful. We do. That has been in talks. Not sure if that's in the works, but we do have an update that is coming out that's going to be very, very helpful. I'm hoping it includes some of those Flips.finance idea. But yeah, we're going to be getting a lot more in depth with wallet tracking and not only ourselves, but other people's as well. So definitely stay tuned for that. Ween G, for example, say I have an AS in one wallet, but when I make a purchase, the funds come from wallet 2. Oh, I'm not sure if we can do that. That's a very good idea, though. I'm going to note that. That's a great suggestion. It's actually a really good suggestion. To my knowledge, Ween G, I don't think that's possible yet. So I will pass that to the team and see if we can do something like that. Again, never used bidding at all, so this might be a new question. If we use bidding, and bid at 85% of floor price. We bid on 200 tokens, for example, and price goes down suddenly by 30%. What happens with the already submitted bids? Do we have to cancel all of them before someone accepts? No, because well, it depends when you're looping that. Are you looping that those submissions, or are you not? If it's just a one-time bid, then you'd have to go in there and cancel that yourself. But you can cancel the whole transaction itself. Like, let's say I wanted to remove all that, then that should be all good. Bully, swear easy. It's possible. I do it all the time. I connect to my main wallet and change wallets and buy with those. Send my wallet too. Oh, there you go. Cool. It's actually pretty neat. Did not know that. Cool. Cosmic, is there a way to set up alerts to say if the floor price of a project goes up by a certain percent or even past a certain value? In this upcoming update, I believe there might be that functionality. Again, not 100% on the full update release, but we are in talks about that for sure. We definitely have. There was actually a video I think K2 posted a while back in the major section, and it talked about pretty much alert setups. And there's a video portion on there if you guys can check that out. It's actually pretty neat. But yeah, we will be getting kind of alert setups, kind of like that. Just not 100% sure on the time frame of that. Xcrap. Also, when we move from one section to another, it loses the time settings. If you set 5-minute in the mint section to go somewhere else and return, it loses the 5-minute settings. Yeah, I know. So she's talking about, like, let's say we wanted to stay on 5 minutes on mint. It changes kind of back and forth. I'll definitely note that as well, because let's say you wanted to just see 1 minute mints and you want to see 1 minute trends and just kind of want to bounce between those. That would be pretty cool to do. Appreciate that. Ween G, would it be possible to include a button that takes us to XUY2 listings when the item is listed on XUY2? Similar to a button that takes us to the OS listing. I can pass that to the team as well. Yeah, the problems that we had with the kind of the links were that we're getting fake links, and again, one of the main concerns here is that we get the security of you guys handled. Last thing we want is people clicking a bad link and that kind of messing up reputation on our end. So I'll pass that to the team. That's definitely, I know a lot of people are asking for the link function because the convenience factor, obviously. So there's been a change in AS where if you look at the collection but you change tabs, the listings won't update anymore. There's been a change in AS where if you look at the collection but you change tabs, the listings won't update anymore. When you switch back to the tab, it takes a while for listings to update. This didn't used to happen. It's pretty annoying. I'll have to note that. I haven't seen that as of yet. But the top portion should be calculated per block, so this should be live. If that's not, that's definitely something we should be looking at. So thanks for pointing that out. Yes, social links will be a plus. Yes, I know we had that in the first version, so we're trying to get that back for y'all as well. Sorry to ask this again, but I didn't get what the private key is, because once I tried the bidding tool, it shows an error, and the mods here told me the private key. The private key is basically the kind of like your password or your what is it, like your backup password to your actual wallet itself. So only you would have that private key. Nobody else should or have that private key at all. So yeah, whenever you created like a MetaMask or any wallet that you had, it should have had like some type of secondary backup key that you could write and type in if you happen to forget your password. There's another question. I feel like I missed it. Oh, right here. D33. Can you show us your trading view settings for display? Yours looks better. Yeah, for sure. All right. So down here, if you guys haven't messed around with trading view, mine probably looks a little different compared to your guys's. Just because I've been messing with trading view for a few years now. Yours probably looks something like this. Let's change this back. Red. And green. So your guys probably look something like this. And one of the things I don't like about this view is that the volume overtakes my candles, and I really don't like that. I like to have them on separate panes. So in order to do that, I like to go into the right-hand tab, the three little dots, and you can move this to its own pane. So personally, for my preference, I like to move it to something that's under. You can move it above, so you can see volumes above here. That's just not a preference I like. I change it to the bottom, and then I go in here into settings and I change it just visually to my liking. I don't like lots of green and red on my screen, so I just change it to blue and yellow just because it fits better with the black background. And to get the black background, you just want to right click, go into settings, and where is it at? Appearance. If you go, I think the default's like gray or something like that. I changed mine to black. It just, again, it's better on my eyes for personal preference. And that's pretty much the layout. Again, you can go in here and change anything you want. You can change the colors, you can change the candlesticks, you can change pretty much whatever you want. Have that to be a line chart. However you want to kind of set that up. And once you're done setting that up, if you wanted to save that layout, you can go into here and save that layout, and you can go back and actually have multiple layouts that you can come down here and actually load. So you can save all your drawings like this as well. And let's say you wanted to have your indicators pop up like this all the time, you can create an indicator template or save that, so that now every time you have a particular template you want to pop up, it's just automatically saved. But yeah, it's kind of just a little breakdown on the little trading view process right here. Trading view is its own little rabbit hole in itself, but we'll be going a lot more in depth over trading view in the next weeks or so, because trading view is very, very powerful, and I think with the update that we have coming out, it's just going to enhance its abilities even more. So next crap, and I didn't get if you answered about a direct mint button. cbook IO is implemented in a very good way to directly mint from contract. That's interesting. I'll pass that to the team as well. Seeing if that's a possibility that we can do. Yeah, see stuff like that. If we can have like proprietary little, I guess, nooks and crannies, I think that's kind of what makes, I guess, or could make the platform just even that much better. So appreciate that suggestion. We'll see if we can try to implement something like that. All right. So we're about pushing the hour mark. Just want to kind of wrap everything up and thank everybody for coming down here. We have a lot of people down here. And again, I know you guys don't have to be here. It's everybody's time is very precious in this space. So again, really appreciate you guys coming down here and asking these questions because again, without the interaction here, we can't make this tool more optimized. So having the people utilize it and the community give feedback, whether it's good, bad, harsh criticism, we want it. That's exactly what we're looking for. So we appreciate you guys coming down and again spending this hour down here with us. I'm going to, let me see. We are going to have a giveaway today. It's going to be via Twitter. And it's pretty much one of the main things that we kind of go over. It's pretty much just tweeting one takeaway and adding myself and Alpha Sharks. If you guys can do that, you guys will be entered inside the giveaway for today. Winners will be posted tonight or tomorrow, I believe. And yeah, make sure you guys get your guys' tweets in. And again, it could be anything. If the session was bad, if it was not worth your time, definitely let us know that so we can help better these sessions as well. But yeah, make sure you guys get that tweet in to enter the giveaway if you guys actually spent the time here. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys coming down. Yeah, I hope you guys took something out of this. And please, please, please don't be afraid to contact me. My DMs are open. My Twitter is always open as well. If you guys have any questions regarding the tool, do you guys have questions on a play that's happening, pretty much anything, don't be afraid to reach out. I'm definitely here to try to help benefit everybody here. So again, really appreciate you guys coming down, and make sure you guys get that those tweets in for the giveaway. And we do have another session coming up tomorrow. I believe that will be announced tonight. So be on the lookout for the media alert. But yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap up this session. Again, really appreciate you guys coming down, and hopefully we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Appreciate it, Jude.